friends, Zoe here. Today I'm super excited to talk to you because I'm going to be talking to you on the topic of self-improvement. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the feeling of loneliness. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to open up to you guys a little bit about something, and it's something I have shared bits and pieces of in a few more of my recent videos and in November and my ayahuasca series, is that last year I felt quite lost. I felt quite lost for almost all of 2018. I just didn't feel a connection, and I didn't really feel a connection to YouTube or what I was doing. I just was not sure if I was on the right path. And some very unfortunate events happened in my life. I lost some people who were very meaningful to me in my life, and I just struggled to find the purpose, let's say, the connection. And throughout the year, I noticed in myself, I didn't like myself. And I didn't like the way that I was acting and reacting and feeling like a victim. And as you know, if you follow the law of attraction, is that when you are feeling unpleasant, when you are feeling unaligned and icky, you just attract more and more negative scenarios to happen to you. And some pretty crazy negative things manifested themselves into my life. Luckily, they've all cleared out now. But for most of the year, and through reading Brené Brown's Dare to Lead book, and which is all about vulnerability, I realized that the reason why I felt unhappy with myself was because, as I mentioned, I felt disconnected. But beyond that, it was a feeling of loneliness. Loneliness because I was disconnected, not from the rest of the world so much, because we can't build a connection with other people until we build a connection with ourselves. Is that I was lonely inside. This mind, body, soul, spirit connection, it was way off balance. And it was off balance because I felt like my external world was so out of my control. I had to spend a lot of my time and efforts out there and working and becoming obsessed with working and becoming obsessed with productivity and getting things done and building to-do lists and Xing them all off, that I decided to spend my entire year, for the most part, reacting stimulus and response, rather than taking a look inside and understanding and trying to figure out why I felt that way. Because we can't fix the way we feel about things or the way things are going out of control in our own lives if we don't take the time to look within. So after reading this book, and of course you guys know at the end of the year I had a very good 2-month trip where I went to Rhythmia, did ayahuasca, and I volunteered with Sea Turtles. I went on a really relaxing holiday with my family, so that in itself, I feel, healed me from the year of my disconnect and struggle. But as I mentioned, the feeling of disconnect is essentially the feeling of loneliness, but loneliness within your own self. It wasn't like I needed more friends or I wanted a relationship. It wasn't that type of loneliness. And I think that's one thing that a lot of us struggle with, is that when we are feeling a sense of loneliness inside, we turn to other things to try to help us fill that void. For me, it's working. I like to be busy. When there's something inside of me that isn't right, that I know needs fixing, on a subconscious level and on a conscious level, I will push down that feeling with work. I will say yes to new projects. I will just start pushing myself to do new things, work-wise, and new projects, and in that way I avoid what's going on in myself. And it's like a coping mechanism, but as you can probably tell right now, this sounds like a very terrible coping mechanism, because what happens when you keep putting pressure on something is that it's eventually going to blow. So the reason why I wanted to bring this topic forward to you right now is because maybe there's something going on in your own self that doesn't feel good, and I want you to really ask yourself that when you go outside each day, let's say you're on your way to work or you're going grocery shopping, how do you feel inside? Is there any part of you that feels heavy, that feels unpleasant, that feels resentful, that just doesn't feel good? And if there's some part of you that doesn't feel good, take the time to go within so that you can understand why you're feeling that way. And once you make the connection with yourself, I like to call this a breakthrough. Some of you might be familiar with that term as well. But when you can connect the dots and understand, I feel this way because of this that happened, and you choose to accept it, the more and more that you can connect the dots as to why you feel a certain way, you're giving yourself validation that it's okay to feel the way that you felt. Allow the feelings out. You can cry if you need to cry, you can be mad if you need to be mad, but just allow the feelings to come out. Don't push them down with whatever you do. Some people get distracted by throwing themselves into new relationships. Some people get distracted, like myself, by putting too much on their to-do list and wanting to do a bunch of work. And other people get distracted by just lying in bed and watching Netflix all day. And it's totally okay to do that stuff once in a while. It's all a learning game. But try to identify in yourself what it is that you are avoiding. And like I said, most of the time it comes back to feeling a disconnect within yourself, a loneliness within this body that you're in right now. So the more and more that you can try to connect yourself, connect those dots, I promise you the happier you'll be. So take the time now, like I said, to assess your own life and see if there's anything that needs connecting, any emotions or feelings that you've been suppressing, and allow them to be released and healed. If you guys need any additional tips on like letting feelings go, I recently did a meditation video which I think could really help you, because I talk about how I release negative unwanted feelings or emotions. All right, and please give this video a thumbs up if you guys liked it, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye.